This 1981 National Football League game is brought to you by the new Chrysler Corporation. For 1982, Chrysler has the cars, the quality, and the prices America needs. By Budweiser, for all you do, this Bud's for you. By Acme Boots, makers of Acme Real Western Boots. And by the Bell System Yellow Pages, the first step. Let your fingers do the walking through the Bell System Yellow Pages.
To help you buy a new car, Chrysler is holding 81 sticker prices on its Omni and Horizon Misers and Customs, its Aries and Reliant K 2- and 4-door base models. 82 cars at 81 prices. And now at participating dealers, Chrysler's savings certificates save you $300 to $1,000 on most other new 81 and 82 cars and trucks, depending on model. For 82 cars at 81 prices, or savings certificates worth $300 to $1,000, come to Chrysler.
This is the automatic Olympus OM2. OM2, top of a new world of single-lens reflexes. Sophisticated, precise, world's first camera to measure light off the film for electronically accurate exposures. The revolutionary OM2. Olympus, camera of professionals, of all who demand no less than excellence. Take no pictures less than great. Olympus OM2, excellence by design.
This Bud's for the men who took the Andrea Doria treasure back from the sea.
This Bud's for you. This Bud's for you. For all you do, the king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you. That distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
The balloons overhead symbolize the happy atmosphere at Riverfront Stadium as we start the second half. Not only do the Bengals have the lead, but they get the ball as David Verser fields the kick by Tony Frisch at the goal line, and Verser gets barely to the 20-yard line before the Oilers greet him rudely. The Bengals 24 and Houston 7. Bob Costas along with Bob Trumpy, and a look at the halftime stats, Trump.
Two quarterbacks that are very hot. Anderson of 14 of 20 for 175 yards. Stabler 11 of 18 for 132, but the difference, the two interceptions by the Bengals. Time of possession, close. Total yardage, very, very close. First downs, the Bengals have 24, Houston 7, and Houston was the worst team in the league for first down, so it doesn't help.
From the 20-yard line, initial possession of the second half. Ken Anderson back to work. In motion, Isaac Curtis. And the first down carry for Pete Johnson. 2, maybe 3, out near the 23-yard line. On Halloween weekend in Houston, they could show the last 2 minutes of that first half as a horror film anytime.
Campbell had 14 carries in the first half for 74 yards. If you're a Campbell fan, a 5.3-yard average. Pete Johnson for the Bengals, 9 carries, 50 yards. And the penalties, 5 for 45 yards for Houston, now 3 for probably 25 yards for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Late in the first half, I made the comment that Houston had been penalized much more than the Bengals, and the graphic on the screen contradicted that. But
holding, number 65, offense, still first down.
Max Montoya was holding on the play, but indeed it was true that the Oilers were hit with penalties for 3 times as much yardage in the first half. 2
pass interference penalties that really hurt the Oilers.
And it is first down and 20 from the 10-yard line of Cincinnati. Anderson, a wobbler that is caught over the middle by Dan Ross. And for a guy who was playing with a question mark over his head when the game began, he looks pretty good.
He's done an excellent job so far. And you mentioned that it was tipped, or you mentioned that it wobbled. The reason it wobbled, it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. Still a good reception by Dan Ross. Good concentration on the football.
Good for 13 yards out to the 23-yard line. It'll be second down and 7. This was a tidy little 14-7 affair with the Bengals leading and the Oilers driving with less than 2 minutes remaining. But the Bengals somehow managed to stop Houston and tack on 10 points of their own before the gun sounded to end the first half and nearly blow this ball game open at 24-7. The catch by Pete Johnson breaks a tackle. Shoved out before he can get to the 30-yard line, which is where he had to go for the first down.
One of the few, excuse me. he's trying to exhort the defense, and this is one of the few missed tackles you'll ever see by Robert Brazil. Pressure, Elvin Bethea, and you'll see the broken tackle there, and then Greg Stemrick knocks Pete Johnson out of. Maybe the young man should look at the scoreboard.
This is a homecoming for Stemrick, who went to high school in the Cincinnati area. 3rd down 2 from the 28-yard line.
Excellent cornerback, Greg Stemrick. Very few teams test Greg Stemrick. They choose to go on J.C. Wilson, the other corner.
This would be a big play for Houston to try and give them a boost if they could stop the Bengals on 3rd and 2. Pitch it to Pete Johnson. They did stop him.
Got out in front of the tackle before the tackle could make a block. It's a play that had worked in the first half. It's not going to be easy for the Bengals to maintain the kind of dominance they had the first half in running the football or going up and down the field, because at halftime they're going to make adjustments. Here comes the big part of the Houston Oilers game, that punt return. You'll see the pursuit by Thompson, 51, 71, Kenny Kennard. Everyone's out there to make it. Didn't fool anybody.
Free safety Mike Reinfeld, who hit him first, really paid for the collision with the 250-pound Pete Johnson. He wobbled off the field. Pat McAnally to kick with Carl Roaches, who is averaging about 9 yards per punt return, waiting deep. And McAnally sends one high and long, with Roaches fields at the 29. And they are waiting for him again. Boy, they have done a great job on covering kicks and punts.
45 yards on the punt, 1 yard on the return, and we set this game up as the second dimension of the Houston Oilers offense being their kickoff return and punt return. And so far, the Bengals have done an excellent job in shutting that phase of the game down.
John Simmons, the rookie out of SMU, is the man who gets down there and makes the fine tackle on Roaches. Number 25, look at Simmons.
He is a defensive back, and that's what he does for a living, making those open field tackles.
Spot the ball at the 32-yard line. First possession of the second half for Stabler and the Oilers. Out it goes to Tim Wilson. Wilson for only a couple of yards, if that.
Okay, now you see the situation that Houston is in. Down 24-7. Earl Campbell is out of the lineup. Tim Wilson and Ronnie Coleman are in there. Two better receivers than Earl Campbell is. Leon Gray is hurt someone, and we have a report now that Earl Campbell has a slightly pulled hamstring.
And I was about to say, Trump, that if they were holding him out because they're trailing by 17, that strikes me as unthinkable, because you have an entire half remaining. You put together a drive here, you cut it to 24-14, you're right back in the ballgame. But in fact, the reason why Earl Campbell is kneeling along the sideline right now is because he has at least a slightly pulled hamstring.
Well, he is a big part of that franchise. They can't go 4 or 5 games without Earl Campbell. That's why I believe Ed Files and the people who run the Houston Oilers do not want to take a chance with that gentleman. And that really is a good job by the Bengal defense, shutting Earl Campbell down to 74 yards.
Well, on 14 carries, though, he's averaging better than 5 yards a crack. So it wasn't exactly a case of his being frustrated in the first half. The scoreboard, though, would frustrate Earl if he looks at it right now.
Hey, you!
Who, me?
Take my picture.
Me?
Here, use my Panasonic video camera and portable VHS recorder.
Reggie, I don't know how.
It's easy. All the controls can be attached to the camera, so you can take pictures. Smile. And with Panasonic, you get instant replay right through the camera, so you know you've got the shot. Take my picture. I got it, I got it.
I got it.
Get the fun of outdoors indoors with Panasonic Omnivision.
Reggie Vision.
Fuel economy, value for your money. That's what you'll find in all new General Motors cars and trucks at GM dealers. You'll also find a financial institution whose only business is automotive financing. That's GMAC. You know, even when money is tight, credit is available from GMAC and at rates that make good sense. Ask a GM dealer about GMAC, the financing people from General Motors.
Leon Gray, the outstanding left tackle of the Houston Oilers, who historically has played especially well against the Bengals, was shaken up on the last play, and he's out for a while. Stabler will go to the air on 2nd down and 8 from his own 34-yard line, and the catch is made by Renfro, and Renfro scoots to the 45 for the first down. Bobby Kemp makes the tackle. Ken Riley, the 13-year Bengal veteran, who collided with Dave Casper in the first half, there he is, number 13, has not returned to the lineup, and the newly reactivated Ray Griffin is opening the second half at right corner. Rick Rosano is also in at linebacker in place of Jim LeClaire. There's knee giving him trouble again. 11:50 to play third quarter. The Bengals 24 and the Oilers 7. Stabler along the left sideline for Kenny Burrow, but it's broken up neatly by Ray Griffin.
The Bengals are continuing linebacker blitz from the outside. You saw Reggie Williams there putting good pressure on Ken Stabler. You see Ross Browner and Reggie Williams on the blitz. Watch Reggie Williams take on the running back there. He does manage to get in there and make a little penetration, make Ken Stabler throw it quickly. Good ball tipped away by Ray Griffin. Zone coverage, obviously. Safety deep, corner up.
The Oilers scored on their first possession. Since then, they've been blank. And they trail it by 17. Pitch it back to Ronnie Coleman. Coleman with a blocker in front of him. Cuts into Bengal territory at the 49-yard line.
Now, I wonder psychologically what it does to the Houston Oilers to take Earl Campbell out of the lineup. Obviously, a big loss. It's going to be up to someone like Ronnie Coleman, Tim Wilson, or a receiver to come up big here in this second half and try to make up what they're going to lose with Earl Campbell on the bench with a full hamstring. Although I see no ice on his hamstring, I see no wrap on his hamstring. Rather interesting.
I got a feeling if they get close, he'll come back. What do you think?
He has to get back in there. Shotgun.
3rd and 3. Stabler finds Coleman. Fumble, but right into the hands of Renfro. How about this? Mike Renfro dances to the 29-yard line of Cincinnati. Houston finally got a break.
Certainly bounced their way on that particular play. Good hit by Lewis Breeden. Mike Renfro, man on the spot. 18 yards on the pass and catch. This is receivers. You see Cross there. Coleman wide open. And the hit is a good one right on the football. And that break certainly goes to Houston. 18 yards on the pickup, first down.
Clock moving with 10 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the third quarter. There's a look at Mike Renfro, who is Johnny on the spot. Another fumble. I think Stabler was able to lunge in and pick it up, and he was. So they lose a yard, which is certainly preferable to losing the ball.
Occasionally that happens, even to the veterans. They realize that it may have been a long pass play. Stabler trying to get out of there quickly to set up, get a good look at the defense. A little mishandled football between David Carter, 58, the center, and Ken Stabler.
2nd and 11. The Oilers, as we mentioned earlier, are one of the worst clubs in the league on the giveaway chart. Fumbles and interceptions lost. Adger Armstrong, a very short gain. Bo Harris brings him down, number 53.
Relative of yours?
Obviously did not change his outfit overnight.
Or needs a shave.
3rd and 8 now from the 27.
The Oilers were very, very bad in the first half, as they usually have been in converting third downs to first downs. Just 2 of 7, 28%.
They went for it twice, though, in the first half on 4th and about 4 or 5. So I think they look at this as a 2-down situation on 3rd and 8, trailing by 17. Stabler firing for Renfro. Incomplete.
Boy, that was close.
Double covered by Bobby Kemp and Lewis Breeden.
He almost made that catch, Bob. This kid has tremendous concentration on the football. He lulls a little bit, and the ball is just put up, and his advantage is he's watching the football. Breeden is not. He gets up in the air.
Looked like it hit Breeden on the helmet just as he was about to latch onto it.
He almost made that catch. Fritz in for the field goal attempt.
Reinfeldt will hold. David Carter will snap. There you see all the numbers for the season on Tony Frick. They'll spot it near the 35. It's about a 45-yard attempt. And he missed it. He missed it wide to the left. He barely had enough distance on it.
That's just his 4th miss of the season, Bob. He's very, very accurate kicker. Appeared to get under that one a little bit.
I thought at first that it wouldn't have enough length, but it got there distance-wise, but missed wide left.
When I found out how affordable Michelin radials were, I thought they were putting me on. Well, as it turns out, I'm putting them on.
I came in here expecting only to have enough for my second choice, but He put me on to Michelin for about the same price.
If anyone tells you Michelin quality is too expensive, they're putting you on. Price Michelins. Only our standards are high.
I found out Michelin prices are really competitive. So that's what I'm putting on.
Michelin. We put America on radials. Now you can shop for phone styles the way you shop for other styles, which makes sense, really, when you consider how many different styles and colors of phones there are today, and how the phone has become a decorating accessory. You just go to any one of our Phone Mart stores, pick out the phones you want, then simply take them home and plug them in.
G.
No, GTE.
Rutherford is in trouble. He's sliding. He's against the fence. The car flips upside down.
Be there when Johnny Rutherford, Bobby Unser, and Mario Andretti return in the Kart Phoenix 150, plus the World Invitational Pairs Bodybuilding Championship next Saturday.
You Oiler fans who were brave enough to hang this sign out at Riverfront can't feel too happy about things right now.
I understand that there is a group of Cleveland policemen who are great Houston Oiler fans. They may be in attendance today. Anytime that the Houston Oilers get within 300 miles of Cleveland, those policemen are in attendance.
After turning back another Oiler threat, the Bengals go to work offensively. Anderson's pass is tipped and nearly intercepted. Intended for Alexander, and a diving attempt by Stemrick comes up short. Miami has tacked on another touchdown, and with about a minute to go in the third quarter, they lead 24-10, not 17-10. David Woodley to Ronnie Lee for 7 yards in their latest score, 24-10 Miami. And San Francisco now in the third quarter, about 10.5 minutes left in that third period, out in front of Pittsburgh 10-7. Actually, they led it 10-0 until Mel Blount picked off a pass and returned it 58 yards for a Pittsburgh touchdown. Seattle at Green Bay, early second quarter, 14-7 Seahawks over the Packers. 2nd and 10, and Anderson finds Alexander. Alexander spun out of bounds by Stemrick and Brazil and takes exception to the hit from Brazil.
No one there to escort Alexander down the field. The Bengals cannot be loose right now and give Houston any sort of momentum. They've got to have some time of possession by the offense to get the ball down the field.
Just a yard on the play, 3rd down 9, 8:40 to play third quarter. Collinsworth comes out wide to the left. Isaac Curtis goes off to the right. Steve Kreider in motion, sets up in a slot on the right side. Lone running back is Johnson on 3rd and 9. Anderson looking for help and not finding it. Down he goes, short of the first down, and the Bengals will have to punt.
Well, that's 2 drives that have netted 3 plays and a punt for the Bengals, and they can't turn conservative here. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
KXAS TV, Channel 5, Fort Worth, Dallas.
Bob Costas with Bob Trumpy in Cincinnati, where the Bengals have opened up a 24-7 lead on the Oilers. At last report, both the Browns and the Steelers trailing the other AFC Central opponents for the Bengals. So this could be a very profitable day indeed for them. McAnally's kick. Roaches fields it inside the 25. Reverses his field.
They got him again.
And is brought down at the 19-yard line.
You know, Bob, the last time these two teams met, they had incredible return yardage out of the kickoff return and punt return. So far, the Bengals have shut Houston off in that department.
This Bud's for all the guys who keep the action from getting out of hand.
This Bud's for you, for all you do. The king of beers is coming through.
Yeah, just for you, that distinctively clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
For all you do.
This Bud's for you.
This is no way to treat a personal luxury car, but this is no ordinary personal luxury car. This is the new Dodge 400. The cockpit says personal luxury, but here's the difference. Front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering, McPherson struts, electronically controlled engine, and another extraordinary difference, extraordinary mileage. Dodge 400 is no ordinary personal luxury car.
driving machine.
Dodge 400, America's personal driving machine.
It's a dynamite doubleheader. The Dolphins take on the New England Patriots. The Oakland Raiders battle the Houston Oilers. The New York Jets clash with the Baltimore Colts. The Cincinnati Bengals collide with the San Diego Chargers. Feel the impact next Sunday.
The Oilers have beaten the Bengals 6 times in a row, and here's the story on the last 3. 2 Fritsch field goals in the 4th quarter for a 13-10 win here in Cincinnati. Fritsch just missed one in this ball game, about 45 yards. And big days for Earl Campbell in the last 2 meetings. Better than 200 one time, better than 180 the other. On first down, Renfro is in a peck of trouble and can't get out of it. A loss of a couple on the play.
This is the 2nd weekend in a row now we've seen the Houston Oilers just swarmed by a defense. Last week, Pittsburgh, with lots of blitzes, lots of corner support, really took away a great deal of their offense. That time, Reggie Williams on the blitz. Stabler had to throw it quickly. The cornerback up 34 in coverage. 27, Brian Hicks on the tackle.
On that last punt just before the commercial, McInally boomed it for 45, and the return by Roaches went 5 yards backwards. 2nd and 12. Stabler has got Casper, and Lewis Breeden has Casper shortly after that with help from Bo Harris.
I do believe that the return yardage is a big factor in this football game. Carl Roaches has 3 returns for no yards.
That's on punts.
Yeah, on punts. The last time they met, Carl Roaches had 4 returns for 93 yards and a kickoff return of 96 yards for a touchdown.
A look at that catch by Dave Casper, who had just 8 receptions for the season coming into today's game, although he did have 3 on Monday night against Pittsburgh, 1 of them for a touchdown. In the last 5 years running, Casper has caught better than 50 passes 4 times and 48 the year he didn't top 50. Burrow can't hold it. On 3rd and 5, the Bengals are going to plead their case that that was a fumble and a loose football, but no way, incomplete, and the Oilers will have to punt.
I think they thought it was a backwards lateral. All right, that's a double turn, but a lateral, and that's why Ray Griffin went after the football.
That's why they went after it. You're right.
Let's see where he throws it. He throws it from the yard marker on 2 steps back. No, that's not a lateral, but once again, great corner support by Ray Griffin, beating 74 Leon Gray out there.
You're right. They played it as if it was a lateral, which was a good idea just in case the officials did rule it that way. But the replay showed the pass was slightly forward. Parsley.
Excellent punt. Excellent punt.
Fair catch signaled for and made by John Simmons. So the ball belongs to Cincinnati at their 23-yard line after a good kick. A 48-yarder by Parsley. No return off the fair catch. 6:03 left in the 3rd.
Your day is long and your work is hard. Acme. Your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme. Your boots say Acme, the real West.
The world's fastest trains are France's new Très Grand Vitesse, which is French for very great speed. They set a world record at 238 miles an hour. What keeps them from shaking up the passengers or shaking off the tracks? Koni shock absorbers made by the people of ITT. The ITT shocks smooth out the ride and help keep it safe. That's important because when you're going Très Grand Vitesse, you want Très Grand security.
Forrest Gregg on the left, Eddie Biles on the right, and elsewhere. Pittsburgh, after trailing 10-0, now has gone in front of San Francisco 14-10. Jim Smith, a 22-yard touchdown reception from Terry Bradshaw. They have 6:39 to play in the 3rd quarter in that one at Three Rivers, and Atlanta is pounding the Saints at the Dome by a score of 31-10. The latest score, Alfred Jenkins, a 60-yard catch of a touchdown pass from Steve Bartkowski. Green Bay and Seattle are tied at 14. They're in the 2nd quarter. Incomplete on first down.
We have a report. Excuse me. We have a report that Mike Reinfeldt is going in for X-rays and a possible broken ribs. And that certainly hurts the Houston Oilers. He's their best defensive back, along with J.C. Wilson. I think the Bengals now with 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back in Pete Johnson. Although they may throw the ball a lot on first down, I believe Mr. Johnson's going to get a lot of business here in this third quarter.
M.L. Harris tight on the left, Collinsworth wide left, Isaac Harris wide to the right. 2nd down 10. Pete Johnson, the lone setback. And Johnson continues his excellent running out across the 35-yard line.
He doesn't try to fool you very much. Once again, the pitch, and they capture the corner somewhat, but he breaks up underneath the block Munoz on 52 Brazil. And when he gets heading upfield, he is difficult to bring down at 248 or 50 pounds. Now 3rd down and 2.
Earl Campbell, who has not seen any second-half action, and as a matter of fact was removed from the game with about 3 minutes to go in the first half, as the Oilers went to the air with no success at all. 3rd and a long 2. Anderson, the protection breaks down, but he manages to sling it out to M.L. Harris. Harris into Houston territory, still on his feet. M.L. Harris finally bumped out of bounds inside the Oiler 30.
Yards on the catch by M.L. Harris. I believe the amazing thing about that is he's got to be the 4th or 5th receiver in a progression. You can see Pete Johnson there. He takes on Brazil in the block, and that's Ted Thompson, excuse me, 59. He kind of makes Anderson get out of there. There's Brazil, 52. And M.L. Harris just standing around there, probably not even a receiver in the play. Or when he gets headed upfield, he means business. Big 1st down Bengals.
Harris in his 2nd year in the NFL, but a pro football veteran. He played for Forrest Gregg at Toronto in the CFL. 5:05 to play 3rd quarter. Let's get back to Pete Johnson. Johnson lunging to about the 25 for a gain of 3.
It's hard to believe that this Cincinnati Bengal football team last week was held to 205 yards total offense against New Orleans. And the week before, they got like 495 yards against Pittsburgh, and they're doing an excellent job against Houston today. Proves the emotion of the game is always a big factor.
2nd down and 7 yards to go for Cincinnati. Clock moving inside 4.5 minutes to play. There's been no scoring in the 3rd quarter. The Bengals have the same 24-7 lead they held at halftime. Collinsworth, the rookie, makes the catch. And depending upon where they spot it, it's another Cincinnati 1st down. I think they've got it.
You have to feel for Houston in this situation. They just have not gotten a hold on what Cincinnati is planning. It seems like the underneath passes that they've thrown, the receivers have been relatively open. And, of course, with Pete Johnson running the ball with the authority he has, that helps, too. Oh, the Jets are certainly got a handhold on bragging rights in New York.
Pat Leahy, a 42-yarder, his 3rd field goal of the day. Richard Todd to Wesley Walker, a 39-yard touchdown. The Giants have been blank so far, 16-0. 1st down Cincinnati by half the length of the ball. Chicago at Tampa Bay, the Bucks have expanded their lead to 17-3. They're looking to go over 500. They come in at 4-4. The Bears are 2-6. Doug Williams to Kevin House, excellent young wide receiver from Southern Illinois. 51-yard scoring pass. 4 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter as Tampa Bay goes up by 2 touchdowns.
Great speed. Anderson 19 of 27, 236 yards. Collinsworth, his 5th catch, 83 yards on the afternoon.
Anderson barks the signals on 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Gives it to Pete Johnson for a couple on 1st down.
Last time these two teams met, Anderson threw for 290 yards. He was 30 completions out of 52 attempts, both club records.
Matt Barr has just drilled a 39-yard field goal for Cleveland, his 2nd field goal of the game. Earlier, he had a 36-yarder. And the Browns are creeping back, now trailing Buffalo 13-6 after being down 13-0. 2nd and 8 from the 16-yard line. 3 minutes, 15 seconds to play 3rd quarter at Riverfront. Anderson eludes the rush, is inside the 15, scampers for his life and gets out of bounds at the 12-yard line. That's short of the 1st down by about 3 yards.
He had Collinsworth in the corner, but there was good coverage. Along with Dan Ross, too. Anderson thinking the best of it. There's Collinsworth. You'll see he is covered and covered well. of the Houston Oilers defensive backs. Short and deep, inside and out. And Stemrick will change directions there, come up and force Anderson out of bounds. Third down now, and about 4.
The Bengals have converted 4 of 9 third down situations so far. 3 wide receivers stacked on the right side. Anderson pumps once, then unloads to the end zone and has broken up. Collinsworth thought he had the 6 for sure, and Drake Stemrick got there at the last millisecond to knock it away.
Elvin Bethea was there to kind of bother Anderson. He really couldn't put a lot of zip on the ball. You'll see Collinsworth. This is a great play by Stemrick. Collinsworth is open. On top of the linebackers. Watch Stemrick come from your left at the last split second to knock it away. My goodness. That's as close as you can come to a reception and not make it. Now watch 65, Elvin Bethea, get in there, pressure Anderson somewhat, and he takes, see, he's got no zip on the ball. He can't really, if he could have thrown it on the line, I think he would have made the pass and catch, but that's a great play by Stemrick.
And now Steve Kreider will kneel at the 20-yard line. The last time Breach tried one, he was successful from 51, so this is a mere chip shot for him. Okay. A 30-yard attempt. He's 12 of 18 on the year. He's 13 of 19 now. The Bengals tack on 3 more, and with 2 minutes and 53 seconds to play in the third quarter at Riverfront, they're in command, leading Houston 27-7.
The new generation of Dodge Rams made an X-Ford owner out of me, and now Dodge has come up with this new Ram Miser. Beautiful inside and out. And Ram Miser gives Dodge the biggest increase in gasoline mileage of all full-size pickups. Hard to believe it's America's lowest priced pickup. Equipped, not stripped.
Dodge trucks are Ram tough.
Get $300 to $1,000 cash on select new Dodge cars and trucks. See participating dealers for complete details.
We got them all. That means it's Miller time. Come on, I'm buying.
Miller time. Time to head for the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life.
If you've got the time, Miller's got the beer.
The Bengals have held the Oilers' dangerous return men, Roaches and Tullis, well in check on both kickoffs and punts. Now Breach boots this one. This is what they've done several times, sending it short. Wilson fields it. Tim Wilson across the 30-yard line and not much more than that. A 14-yard return, and the tackle is made by Tom Dinkel, number 52. It's been a good day for this man, Jim Breach.
You know, the up-front men, too, for the Houston Oilers have done exactly what the Bengals wanted them to do. Instead of throwing the ball maybe back to Roaches or Tullis, they have run it themselves. And those two guys are averaging close to 30 yards a return. Tim Wilson doesn't normally return many. He returns at 14 yards.
Still no Earl Campbell, and Trump, you're skeptical.
Well, I'm skeptical. I'll tell you why.
After this play, which is a first down and 10 from just across the 30. And the catch is made by Mike Barber. His first grab of the day. Bobby Kemp gets credit for the tackle and a gain of about 3.
I look at it this way, with Earl Campbell on the sideline. If, in fact, he does have a pulled muscle, the normal immediate procedure or medical treatment is ice. I don't see Earl Campbell with ice on his leg. And if, as valuable property as he is, you are certainly not going to mess around with Earl Campbell's legs. You're going to try to make sure that the injury does not last longer than normal. And the longer he goes without ice on his leg, I would think the longer rehabilitation he may have.
Second and a long 6 from the 35. They swing it out to Adger Armstrong, and Armstrong is close to the first down. Very, very close. As he's brought down near the 42. Rick Rosano made the tackle.
I will make this comment. I don't want credit or blame to go to me for this particular comment, but I was told by someone inside the NFL that if you get ahead of Houston, Campbell will not play.
He will not play because they hold him out fearing injury, or he will not play for what other possible reason?
That person did not offer any explanation. One reason is he is not their receiving back. They bring in Tim Wilson and they bring in Ronnie Coleman. Good reason. I agree with that. That's all right. But the the comment was made, and I was very, very surprised because he's one of the toughest kids you'll ever meet in your life. Why they would put him on the sideline. But he did say, if you get ahead, Campbell will not play.
You're relaying a comment rather than expressing your own opinion.
Relaying a comment. I'm not sure I agree with the comment, but it was said.
They got the first down after the measurement. And Ronnie Coleman makes the catch and is into Cincinnati territory, still on his feet near the 40. We're down to 1:25 to play in the third quarter, and the Oilers trail by 20.
Stabler now 19 of 29, excuse me. That's a good day for Ken Stabler. Last weekend, he certainly had a good day against the Pittsburgh Steelers, too, with 230 yards. So he's now got his arm in shape. I believe missing training camp the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season, he was still trying to get his sea legs and get his arm in shape and the timing between quarterback and receiver.
This past week, Coach Ed Biles was quoted as saying that Stabler has been scarred by those gambling rumors and innuendos, even if he won't admit it. Intercepted, his third interception of the day. Racing down the sideline, Bo Harris. Adger Armstrong, the only guy with a crack at him, and he brings him down near the 15. So the Bengals, who had intercepted only 4 passes all year, have victimized Ken Stabler 3 times today.
45 yards on the return by Bo Harris. His second of the season, and the 3 interceptions that Ken Stabler has thrown today, just after we compliment him, have been absolutely between the numbers and to a black shirt. No doubt about it whatsoever.
All 3 of the interceptions by linebackers.
Another interesting point, underneath coverage, obviously not trying to go deep. Well, this is, to say the least, nowhere close to the kind of performance that Ed Biles hoped his team would have here today, facing that set of circumstances. Bengals 5-3, and Houston still in the hunt in the AFC Central Division.
Cincinnati now looking to apply the knockout punch. From the Oilers 16, Pete Johnson carries. They stop him after a gain of a couple. That might have been the last play of the third quarter. Inside 30 seconds now.
If Earl Campbell does not come back in this football game, it will in fact be the first time that the Bengals have held him under 100 yards. And that 6-game winning streak that the Oilers have over the Cincinnati Bengals, I believe, is directly tied to that bit of information. When you get Campbell out of the game for whatever reason, it is a tremendous psychological lift to the defense, no matter how great the other guys are. I mean, that man is a franchise in himself.
That's the end of the third quarter. You look at Campbell, who has averaged better than 140 yards a game in his career against Cincinnati, with a high of 202, never less than 102. The Bengals are up by 20, and we'll be right back after these messages from your local station.
Merlin Olsen stars in a 2-hour season premiere from producer Michael Landon. A prospector is caught in an ambush that leaves a band of children homeless.
I wish there was something I could do.
I'm afraid it would take a miracle.
He's not a priest, but he poses as one to protect the children, and together they build an orphanage.
I'm Father Murphy.
Premiering Tuesday on NBC.
Here comes a whole new breed of taste in light beer.
When you've got to cut loose from the others, when you're ready to take flight, break away, Budweiser Light. Break away, nothing ever felt so right. Oh, break away, Budweiser Light.
Break away to the light beer with the real beer taste. Budweiser Light.
Break away, Budweiser Light.
Exercise and fun with Richard Simmons weekdays at 4.
At the end of the day, that sign may reflect fact rather than just sentiment. If Pittsburgh loses to San Francisco, and if the Bengals hold on here, as it appears they will against the Oilers, they will indeed occupy first place in the AFC Central. Second down 8 as we start the fourth quarter from the Houston 14, 27-7 Bengals. And looking to build on that already sizable advantage. Anderson, he's got it, touchdown. Dan Ross, his second touchdown catch of the day.
Well, I must admit to you, I believe the Bengals scouted the Houston Oilers very well. That was linebacker coverage on the tight end. Watch 51 at the bottom of your screen. You just see his helmet, bottom left. He is the man coverage on Dan Ross, no safety. And Dan Ross, once again, using contact to his advantage, bounces off Ted Thompson and into the end zone for his second touchdown. 5 catches, 53 yards, 2 TDs. This has been very easy for the Bengals.
Reach for the 34th point. There it is. We are 5 seconds into the fourth quarter. And with 14 minutes and 55 seconds left in this ball game, it's the Bengals 34 and the Oilers 7.
Good service isn't giving people what they expect. No, it's giving them more than they expect. Avis knows that. So when you make a reservation, Avis makes a commitment, and they honor it.
Morgan?
See, even if you're 6 hours late. Now, you might be willing to pay a little more for this service, but at Avis, you don't have to. Trying harder is still the best way to do business.
For the past 4 years, the Sylvania Superset has beaten RCA and Zenith in an independent test for best overall color picture.
What about Sony?
And now, for the 5th time, more people once again picked the 19-inch Sylvania Superset over RCA and Zenith for best color picture.
What about Sony?
And this year, we even tested against Sony and won. The Sylvania Superset.
Sunday, based on a true story, a controversial world premiere starring Jamie Lee Curtis.
He loves me so much. He never hurt me.
Death of a Centerfold, the Dorothy Stratton story.
Jack Thompson, your basic throw-in Samoan, warming up on the sidelines, may come in for some mop-up relief here with the Bengals in front 34-7. Adger Armstrong on the return. And he gets out near the 40-yard line as again they kick it in that intermediate range. A 19-yard return for Armstrong.
You'll see Ken Anderson here, 20 of 29, 250 yards, no interceptions, 3 touchdowns. And that's linebacker coverage, I repeat, on tight end. And that was relatively easy.
Ken Anderson may retire shortly after a fine day's work. Did not take him long after the interception and 45-yard return by Bo Harris. A couple of plays to take it in from the 16 and build the edge to 34-7. Stabler back to the air. The catch made by Coleman. He's in Bengal territory before being pushed back. Bobby Kemp hit him. How do you explain this, Trump? A blowout a few weeks ago against Pittsburgh. Possibly on their way to another blowout here against Houston, but sandwiched in between for the Bengals. An embarrassing loss at New Orleans.
Well, I have a feeling that one of the problems is the youth on this Cincinnati Bengal football team. You get sky high one week, you're bound to let down the next week. And then the head coach, Forrest Gregg, gets out the bullwhip this last week, and they're back up at the bit. And it's just, you want the peaks to be, look at there.
Bo Harris picks up the fumble. He's got a committee to lead him down the sideline. He's going to take it in. Now I haven't seen an indication, and now they're going to bring it back.
Stepped out of bounds.
They're going to bring it back. The ball does belong to the Bengals, evidently, but no return.
Well, this is exactly what happened at Cincinnati last weekend. What's happening to the Houston Oilers today? They just have had nothing go their way. 3 interceptions. Campbell out of the ball game for whatever reason.
Dick Jorgensen is going to take to the microphone to explain this one.
Holding this completed pass, fumble. Cincinnati stepped out of bounds on the way down the field. First down.
Thank you, Dick. Jack Thompson now at quarterback. Last week he was 6 of 20 in a very, very subpar performance. Watch the catch by Renfro. I think he just stripped of the ball.
Ray Griffin and Lewis Breeden hit him and knocked it loose. And Harris, only moments ago, rambled 45 yards with an interception. Thought he had a touchdown on the fumble recovery, but they brought it back. Pete Johnson carries out to midfield on first down for a gain of 3. Jack Thompson is in relief of Ken Anderson. The Bengals leading it 34-7.
It is now the fourth quarter, and to this point, 2 games in 3 quarters, the Houston Oilers defense has allowed their opponents 94 points and lost 3 straight games.
The Bengals didn't score at all at New Orleans last week until under 5 minutes remained in the game. Here they're cruising up by 27. Thompson rolling left and goes down in an act of self-preservation before they can wallop him.
Interesting coverage by Robert Brazil, realizing it was a little delay pattern to number 80, Cris Collinsworth. He just stood in his way. And Thompson had nobody to throw to. The better choice, just eat the football.
Well, we have an opportunity here. This game is being televised in the Louisiana area and in Houston. And the reason why I mention that is that a basketball player whom some of our NBC viewers may recall, Mark Alcorn, who was on that LSU team which went to the Final Four a year ago, has been battling cancer for the better part of a year, battling it courageously, and he is now in a Houston hospital for further treatment. And I'd like to say hello to Mark and wish him well from all his fans. And this is going to go for 6 more. Cris Collinsworth. There's a flag down, though, in the backfield. They're going to bring it back, according to Collinsworth's reaction. Let's see what Dick Jorgensen said. Holding Cincinnati. So they have had 2 apparent touchdowns called back. First, the Harris run with the fumble, and now the pass from Thompson to Collinsworth. They can afford it, leading by 27.
That was a broken coverage, too, by the Houston Oilers, obviously. I don't think any player on either one of these teams would have expected this kind of a football game.
Holding, number 78, offense, still 3rd down.
Anthony Munoz, last year's #1 draft choice, who already is a budding All-Pro, was caught holding that time.
This hasn't happened to the Bengals very often, a blowout like this where they can kind of rest a little bit. I see Blake Moore in at center, number 60, replacing Blair Bush, playing a number of people.
3rd down, 22 yards to go from the 35. They try and cross them up with a delayed handoff to Pete Johnson. Johnson is out across the 45, but well short of the 1st down. Greg Bingham makes the tackle. Robert Brazil also there. As the Bengals prepare to punt, a look ahead at Houston's schedule. Next week at home against Oakland, and they're at Kansas City. Then New Orleans comes to the Astrodome, as does Atlanta and Cleveland. They have 3 straight home games in that stretch. Then they're at San Francisco, and they finish with Pittsburgh at home, so their schedule is tough. Even tougher is the Bengals' remaining slate. At San Diego, Los Angeles and Denver here, at Cleveland, San Francisco here, and then at Pittsburgh and Atlanta to finish up the season. McAnally's boot carries into the end zone for a touchback. A 53-yard kick, obviously no return. The net on it is 33 as they'll bring it out to the 20 with 11:49 to play in the ball game, and the Bengals romping.
What's more natural than spicy hot food and icy cold beer? What's more natural than Natural Light from Anheuser-Busch? It's the beer with a taste for food. So, when you want to put out the fire,
What's more natural than Natural Light?
What's a nice new personal car doing out here? This is the new Dodge 400. The cockpit says personal luxury, but here's the difference. Front-wheel drive, rack and pinion steering, McPherson struts, electronically controlled engine, and another extraordinary difference, extraordinary mileage. Dodge 400 is no ordinary personal luxury car.
It's a personal driving machine.
I want a driving machine.
Dodge 400, America's personal driving machine.
It's been called the most sensuous sport in the world. Beauty,
artistic, dynamic intensity. Don't miss the World Invitational Pairs Bodybuilding Championship. Plus the Kart Phoenix 150 next Saturday on NBC Sports World.
I don't know if Paul Brown ever imagined the day that it would come to this, but these are the Bengals on the sidelines.
I see no pom-poms there.
At the 20-yard line. Winning pitcher Ken Anderson relaxes. Stabler's pass is dropped.
Flag down. I believe we have holding on Houston. And they have played an uninspired football game today for whatever reason.
Well, they jumped out of the box in a hurry, up 7-0 on the game's first drive. As they sort this out, let's check the scoreboard. The Jets' lead is cut to 16-7 over the Giants. They still have 3 minutes to play in the third quarter. Beasley Reese took a fumble recovery into the end zone for the Giants score, which got them on the board for the first time. Miami's lead on Baltimore is 27-10. Uwe von Schaman, a 33-yarder with 6.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Miami evidently home free. Here's Dick Jorgensen with the call.
Holding, number 58, offense, still first down.
Chicago has scored Walter Payton a 1-yard touchdown run. They're within a touchdown of Tampa Bay. Atlanta's lead on New Orleans is now 34-10 in the waning moments of the third quarter. Mick Luckhurst hit another field goal, a 22-yarder. Seattle and Green Bay are tied at 21 at Green Bay. Both clubs 2-6 on the season. That's late in the first half. They give the ball to Adger Armstrong on the draw. And on the 1st and 20 carry, Armstrong is stopped by Mike Sinclair, number 72, and Glenn Cameron, number 50.
There's St. Clair underneath. Eddie Edwards comes on the twist up front. Still gets off the block enough to make an assist on the tackle along with Glenn Cameron. Second down on about 13 or 14.
There's Mike St. Clair in his 6th year out of Grambling. Clock winding down toward 11 minutes to play. Stabler on 2nd and 14. Hits Renfro, who eludes tacklers with a nifty move, and Renfro is across the 25, which will leave them with 3rd and 5.
Stabler slow in getting up, too. He took a good shot in the chest.
St. Clair is the guy who nailed him. Watch it.
Good pass rusher, and that's basically his responsibility with the Bengals. Once again, a twist, you'll see. He didn't put the finishing touches on it, but it was a shot right in the chest and the ribs. And that's when a quarterback has really hung out to dry there with his arm up.
John Reeves is the backup quarterback, the veteran out of Florida for the Oilers. Gifford Nielsen, we're told, is throwing well after that shoulder injury, which he sustained during preseason, and might be ready to be reactivated shortly. But not yet.
Yeah, they thought the injury to Nielsen would take about 4 or 5 weeks. Oh, he's holding his wrist. Gee, I hope there's nothing wrong with the snake's wrist. That's his business hand, that left hand. And John Reeves comes in. He used to be here in Cincinnati. Well, we'll try to find out. That's a good day, except for the 3 interceptions.
Reeves has thrown but 11 passes this year, completing 5. Had 1 intercepted, no touchdowns. 3rd and 5 coming up with 10 minutes and 48 seconds to play in the game. The Bengals 34, the Oilers 7.
What you want to do on both sides right now is you want to accomplish some things offensively and defensively, but you don't want anybody to get hurt. When it's 34-7, you're going to take something off the edge of the players, and this is when they do tend to get hurt. Hopefully the snake is all right.
3 wide receivers. Out of the shotgun, Reeves completes the pass for the first down to Ronnie Coleman. And Coleman with a good run after the reception out near midfield.
24 yards, and Coleman is an excellent receiver out of the backfield. In fact, as opposed to going to 3 wide receivers with Michael Holston as the 3rd one, they'll move Coleman out there as a pass receiver. Here is precise routes. That ball is put on the money by John Reeves. You see the underneath coverage there by 53, Bo Harris, and 79 on the tackle, Ross Browner. But a big game.
1st and 10 at the Houston 49. 9:50 to play in the game. Flags fly as there was motion along the line. Reeves uncorks one long. Campbell catches it, takes it in. But let's see what the call's going to be.
I think it's Defense offsides. Gary Burley, it's going to count as a touchdown. Great catch by Ken Burrow. 51 yards. Once again, that 6'3"
Offside, number 67, defense, decline.
Again, in uncanny fashion, you are right on the money on the penalty call. Watch number 67, Gary Burley. There he goes. Offsides for the Bengals. In effect, this becomes a free play for the Oilers. And Reeves, who has just checked in, replacing the injured Stabler, goes up top for 51 yards to Kenny Burrow. And for number 00, his 6th touchdown reception of the year.
Boy, he is a deep threat, too. Has been his entire career. Great speed, deceiving speed with those long legs.
Now Tony Fritz tries to make it 34-14 with 9:41 left. And he does. So the Oilers show some signs of life. That was Burrow's 2nd reception of the day. The first one for just 4 yards. This one covers 51 and a touch.
Let the Radio Shack TRS-80 put the world of color computing into your home. Instant loading program packs turn any color TV into an exciting game arcade. There's more. The color computer is an educational aid, a home management tool, and up-to-the-minute electronic information service. The programmable, expandable TRS-80 color computer from $399 only at Radio Shack, your Christmas computer store.
If the price of boots has kept you out of them, have I got news for you. Sears has genuine leather insulated boots for men.
And split suede hiking boots for women and men. Just $19.99 a pair. Save $10.
Lug sole, Goodyear welt construction, padded ankles, glove leather, or split suede. Now just $19.99. Hurry, sale ends Saturday. At $19.99, it's tough choosing between them.
At $19.99, you don't really have to.
For a great deal on boots, you can count on Sears.
Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy in Cincinnati watched the hit again by St. Clair on Ken Stabler, which knocked him out of the game.
Kind of got his wrist caught underneath the shoulder pads of Mike St. Clair. He may have bit back a thumb or something along those lines.
Now let's look for the possibility of the onside kick here by Houston. No, they kick it long. David Mercer backs up and fields it across the 25-yard line. 9.5 minutes to play in the ball game.
Oh, it's a Houston Oiler down. Edger Armstrong, I believe. 25 yards on the return. There's the scoring drive. 51-yard pass. John Reeves to Ken Burrow.
Ending a long drought for the Oilers, who had scored the first time they touched the ball, and since then hadn't been able to do anything offensively. They had 2 drives thwarted by the Bengals, coupled by interceptions in Cincinnati territory.
Edger Armstrong has been knocked silly there. There he is, helped by his friends. One of the things that you must do on special teams is sacrifice your body, and when you put your head in there, you can hear bells ringing for several minutes afterwards, and I think that's what happened to him. He got up and was really wobbling around.
Some playing time now for Archie Griffin and Jim Hargrove, number 36, a rookie out of Wake Forest, as Pete Johnson and Charles Alexander are pulled by Forrest Gregg, with the Bengals in front 34-14 and 9.5 minutes left. The Bengals have touchdowns on Ken Anderson passes, 2 to Dan Ross, and another to M.L. Harris, and a touchdown run by Pete Johnson, as well as 2 field goals, one for 51 and one for 30 by Jim Breach.
Defense offsides. 1st and 5, Cincinnati Bengals.
Wow. San Francisco has jumped back in front. They have 5 minutes and 35 seconds to play in the 4th quarter. Well, easily a 1-yard touchdown run for the 49ers. 17-14 to score. And again, the playoff implications as we swing into the second half of the season.
They're playing that game in Pittsburgh, too, aren't they? The Steeler fans are not used to seeing the Steelers lose in Three Rivers.
Number 67, defense, still first down.
It's not difficult to detect Mike Stensrud at 6'5", 280 when he jumps offside.
1st and 5 now for the Bengals. Jack Thompson in it, quarterback. Gives it to Hargrove, and the rookie appears to have the first down for Cincinnati. Darryl Hunt makes the tackle, number 50.
Wrap up the middle, something they've been very successful with all day long. You see Jesse Baker coming way down inside, and the responsibility to the linebackers, Brazil and Darryl Hunt on the tackle. Going to be second down in about the length of a football for a first down.
According to the scoreboard here at Riverfront, not our NBC stat people, but the scoreboard which I'm looking at here, the Bills lead the Browns 15-6 in the fourth quarter, which means that Buffalo has gotten a very important safety after leading 13-6 and putting them out of range of being caught by a single Cleveland touchdown. Hargrove again on first down. Check it, that was a second down play as they were shy of the first, and that gets them the first down. And there is Earl Campbell, who has not made an appearance in this second half. Now, Cleveland has just scored. It's in the fourth quarter, not the third quarter. Cleveland, after trailing 15-6, has gotten another touchdown, and they're within 2. And the difference in the game is a safety. More on that Cleveland-Buffalo game right after this play, with 8.5 minutes remaining in this ball game. Hargrove, they're working him heavily on this drive.
Fumble.
Looks like he lost it.
I believe Houston came up with a football.
They did. The Oilers have the ball. Now, if they could score very quickly here, would you put them back in this ball game, Trump, or would you say it's out of the question?
When you have someone like Ken Burrow, and the ball was stripped away from him. Good play by the Houston Oilers, and for the next 8 minutes and 13 seconds, whenever the Bengals are on offense, that's exactly what Houston's defense will try to do. But when you got people like Burrow and Renfro, excellent receivers, big play possibilities always exist there. You see Vernon Perry with the football.
Stabler still out. Don Reeves in. A quick score could pull them within 34-21 with about 7 minutes left. They have just over 8 minutes remaining now, and Adger Armstrong running well on first down. It's about 7.
Excuse me, obviously he is all right. Rick Rosano, 51 on the tackle. That's been the story of the game, and the fact that Campbell has not returned.
That was the first Bengal turnover, the fumble by Hargrove, first Bengal turnover of the day. Cincinnati has intercepted Stabler 3 times and also picked up a Renfro fumble. Ronnie Coleman lunging for the first down, but I believe he's shy of it. It's going to be third and short. Wilson Whitley with the tackle, number 75. Now back to that Cleveland-Buffalo game. They have 9:41 to play in the fourth quarter. With the score 13-6 Buffalo late in the third, the Bills got a safety. When the Browns were called for intentionally grounding the ball in the end zone, so I assume it was Brian Syke who was the guilty party there. So the intentional grounding call in the end zone put Buffalo ahead 15-6. But with 9:41 to play in the game, Syke has come back and hit Ozzie Newsome with a 12-yard touchdown pass to cut it to 15-13. So right now the safety stands as the difference in the game. Reeves calling for a timeout so he can go to the sidelines and confer with Ed Myers. We'll return to Cincinnati with 7:01 remaining. There is a well-rested Earl Campbell.
Introducing the 82 Dodge Aries K, America's highest mileage 6-passenger driving machine, with even better mileage than last year. Front-wheel drive and improved suspension for better performance than last year. But the most incredible news for 82 is what isn't new, the base model price. Still America's lowest priced, highest mileage 6-passenger front-wheel drive car. The 82 Dodge Aries K Coupe, America's driving machine. And on other select new Dodge cars and trucks, get $300 to $1,000 cash. See participating dealers for complete details.
What's more natural than pasta and beer? Ah, what's more natural than natural light from Anheuser-Busch? The beer with a taste for food. It's natural and it's light. So when you want to leave room for more... What's more natural than...
Natural light.
Looking at at some x-rays on the sidelines, and one would assume that they're x-rays of the wrist of Ken Stabler.
My goodness gracious. We need a
Now, don't attempt to analyze that, Charles.
We need a radiologist here. Something that neither one of us are qualified for. That's one of the new rules in the NFL. Each team must have x-ray equipment in the stadium so they can make diagnoses immediately.
3rd and 1 after the timeout. Ronnie Coleman looks like he's got it. In that Cleveland-Buffalo game, as they continue to look at those x-rays, and we'll have a report for you from the sidelines as soon as possible. In that Cleveland-Buffalo game, it looked for a while like the Bills might regret that missed extra point early in the game, but now they've gotten a safety to make up for it, and that 2 points is the difference. 15-13 over the Browns with about 7 or 8 minutes remaining in that game at last report. The measurement reveals first down Houston. The Jets have scored again. Pat Leahy with his 4th field goal against the Giants. This one a 31-yarder. About 13 minutes to play in the game. 19-7. The Jets lead it. A final now. Miami beats Baltimore 27-10. Miami's record goes to 6-2-1, and Baltimore's lost 8 in a row after opening the season with a victory over New England. They're 1-8. Tampa Bay leads Chicago 20-10. They're late in the 4th quarter in that game. John Reeves completes his pass to Renfro. Renfro is at the 15-yard line for an Oiler first down with 6.5 minutes left.
There is a flag down in the field too, Bob. Appears that there was contact past the legal 5-yard limit, and it's going to be against the Bengals.
Leon Gray is consulted.
Holding number 34, deep in, behind. First down.
Reeves has done an excellent job here so far. Throws the ball with authority. Good pass completion to Renfro. And the Houston Oilers' best receiver so far today.
From just outside the 15, it's first down. 6.5 minutes remaining. Might be pass interference at the goal line. But against 2.
Again, 34, I believe, Bengals against Campbell. It was Breeden.
No foul on the play. The ball could not be caught.
Oh.
Second down.
Interesting. Very, very good. Now, that is a rule, obviously, in the NFL. But I'm not sure the official who throws the flag makes a determination. I believe somebody else makes the determination that the ball, in fact, could not be caught. So incidental contact is wiped out.
Buffalo scores again. Joe Ferguson to Joe Prince for 60 yards. That's the 3rd time they have hooked up. 58, 15, and 60. With 7.5 minutes left, it's 22-13 the Bills. This one pops wide open for Adger Armstrong, who is down to the 1. The Oilers are signaling touchdown, but they're going to spot it just outside the goal line.
Jeff Shue on the tackle. And this is a good call by John Reeves or the coaching staff of the Oilers. See Brian Hicks try to make the tackle. Good spinning run by Adger Armstrong. And it's first down and goal. The x-rays on Ken Stabler's wrist were negative, which means no broken bones, but possibly a slight dislocation, a sprain in that passing hand. That means that John Reeves will be the starting quarterback until Gifford Nielsen or Ken Stabler can get back and be healthy.
John Reeves is less than a yard away from taking them to 2 touchdowns since replacing Stabler. There it is. Ronnie Coleman scores. We've got 5 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. Houston has 2 timeouts left. And assuming that Fritz hits this extra point, it's going to be 34-21.
Stabler produced 1 touchdown for the Oilers. John Reeves 2 so far today. And they made a game of it. That's to the Houston Oilers' credit. They have not quit.
For Ronnie Coleman, his first touchdown of the season.
Good blocking up front. And there's nobody there. Ray Griffin, the cornerback, is the closest guy to stop it.
And the point after try is perfect. Well, Trump what do you think with 5:35 left? Can it happen?
Onside kick. Give it a try.
We'll be back right after this.
Some house, but you need a new heating system.
Gas is not.
We heard wood stoves were efficient. Wood's not cheap.
There's oil. Cammy is the fireplace.
How about steam? You gotta have insulation.
I know electric.
Hold it, hold it.
So I heat.
Hold it. The first step is the yellow pages.
The Bell System Yellow Pages. The first step in helping you solve a heating problem. Before you waste time and money, take the first step. Let your fingers do the walking through the pages.
Some storm.
The house is cozy.
It's Dave Casper gazing over the shoulder to get his own impressions of those negatives of the wrist of Ken Stabler, or the x-rays which were negative.
I wonder if all the radiologists out there in our watching audience agree.
Forrest Gregg, perhaps a few moments of concern.
Well, he doesn't like letdowns like this, and no coach does. I mean, any time that you give a team an opportunity to get back in the football game, coaches don't necessarily like that.
See if they go with the onside. They kind of drop one in 9-iron fashion down in a vulnerable area. But Rick Rosano calls for a fair catch on the kick, which is perfectly legal, and wisely tucks it away.
Free kick. You can fair catch it. I'm rather surprised that a linebacker would know that. Let's give credit to the coaching staff. Bruce Coslet is a special teams coach, former tight end, and great special teams player. Certainly informed his fellows that take no chances. Fair catch it. All we want is possession.
Ken Anderson has come back in. His rest was a short one. He left with the score 34-7. Now it's 34-21. Johnson with good yardage on first down out near the 40. Clock running with 5:25 left.
The danger for the rest of the game for the Bengals is that Houston will be trying to tackle the football. Trying to get a turnover so they can get the ball back, get their offense back on the field.
He got 6. It's second down 4. By the time they snap it, we'll have less than 5 minutes remaining. The Oilers can stop the clock twice more. 2 tight ends, M.L. Harris and Dan Ross are in. Curtis and Collinsworth are the wide receivers. Johnson is the single setback, and they pitch it to him. And Johnson appears to have the first down for the Bengals.
Or at least close enough for a measurement.
And apparently that's what they'll do. Stopping the clock with 4:38 left. There's Ronnie Coleman, who scored the last Houston touchdown. Next to him is rookie wide receiver Mike Holston, number 84.
Johnson, 18 carries, 90 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, his chance for a 100-yard day may have been enhanced by Houston's comeback. He was going to sit out the rest of the day, then Hargrove fumbled. The Oilers took it in for a score. Johnson did indeed get the first down. And now as they use the big workhorse to try and run that clock down, it's likely that he'll break 100.
He is definitely a Clydesdale. There is no doubt about that, Pete Johnson. He of heavy thighs. Not quite as elusive a runner as Earl Campbell is, but he's more like a howitzer. He just explodes at you.
Johnson for the season has gained 550 yards, counting today's activities, and he scored 6 touchdowns. There he is. Blows out of there for about 7 on first down.
Several defensive replacements for the Houston Oilers. Earl Skogstad in there, John Corker. Obviously, Eddie Biles giving his team a rest. Tampa now over Chicago, 20-10.
The Bucs are now 5-4 with the win, and Chicago is back to earth after last week's overtime victory against San Diego. The Bears are 2-7.
And you have Carter Hartwig, your defensive back, making tackles on Pete Johnson. Obviously, the defensive line not holding up their end.
Anthony Munoz has gone out, and he's replaced at left tackle by Blake Moore, number 60. Pete Johnson. You can see the yardstick at the top of the screen, and he appears to be just short of it. It'll be third down and less than a yard.
That is the unofficial yardstick. They put one on either side of the field. The official yardstick on this side.
Time time remaining, 3:26. Munoz evidently injured a knee, and they are looking at him on the Cincinnati bench.
Oh, my goodness. One of the problems as you watch Eddie Biles, wondering what he's got to do to get his defensive unit up. Munoz, any injury to an offensive lineman on the Cincinnati Bengals is a devastating injury. They only have 6 healthy guys. You got to play 5. It'll be second down and the width of a football maybe. And he has historically bad knees. He's had double surgery on one, single surgery on the other one, and was wearing last year those huge Lenox Hill knee braces, and they just don't have anybody else to play. Blake Moore is their last offensive lineman to come in. They have a guy named Bobby Witten, but he was cut the 3rd week of training camp. They had to bring him back when Glenn Bushnell got hurt, and also when Michael Bravik got hurt.
It's third down and about a foot for the Bengals. The final is in from Pittsburgh, and the 49ers beat the Steelers 17-14. The 49ers go to 7-2. The Steelers to 5-4.
I said it was going to be second down and short. It's third down and short, right?
You're right this time. Third and about a foot, and Pete Johnson gets it. If Buffalo maintains their lead late in the 4th quarter over Cleveland, and it's 22-13 at last report, the Bengals will pick up a game on everybody in the division. They will go 2 games in front of Cleveland and Houston and a game in front of the Steelers.
This has certainly been a topsy-turvy year thus far in the NFL with the upsets last week. New Orleans over Cincinnati, Chicago over San Diego. There's been some strange things happen this year.
Cardinals have beaten Minnesota and Dallas, and they're just about hapless against everybody else. Darryl Hunt makes the tackle on Pete Johnson, and Johnson, I believe, has now gone over 100 yards for the day. Clock is moving. We're going to get the 2-minute warning before the next snap. The word on Johnson, 22 carries for 104 yards. 2 minutes left here. The Bengals lead at 34-21, and now here comes another one of those fantastic finishes.
Alcoa presents Fantastic Finishes. 1979, Metropolitan Stadium, Bloomington, Minnesota. In overtime, Tommy Kramer unloads the ball. Ahmad Rashad makes a spectacular leaping catch and steals the pass away from Green Bay. He turns on the speed, straight arms, and gallops his way to a 27-21 victory over the Packers on the game's final play.
Alcoa can't wait.
Here come the aluminum cans headed for recycling. Today, billions are tumbling in, and that's good news because recycling helps the economy by creating thousands of new jobs, by relieving overburdened landfills, by paying millions of dollars to collectors, and by saving energy, a full 95% of the energy needed to make new aluminum from bauxite.
We can't wait for tomorrow. Alcoa can't wait.
The standings you're looking at in the AFC Central are assuming that Cleveland does not stage a miracle comeback and overhaul Buffalo. That game is still in progress.
And the same is true of Houston-Cincinnati, that Houston doesn't stage a miraculous comeback. That's the way the AFC Central will look in about 20 minutes.
Second and 8 from the Houston 42. The Bengals leading it by a score of 34-21. 24-7 at halftime. Pete Johnson carries, trying to add to his total of 104. Ken Kennard was there, so was Jesse Baker. As we pause briefly for station identification, this is the NBC Television Network.
KXAS-TV, Channel 5, Fort Worth, Dallas.
Bob Costas and Bob Trumpy at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where the Bengals are 1 minute and 46 seconds away from a big victory over the Houston Oilers. It would snap a 6-game losing streak against Houston It would give them a game lead over Pittsburgh and probably a 2-game lead over Cleveland. Definitely a 2-game lead over the Oilers.
I'm not sure, but then would that make Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and Cincinnati, or Pittsburgh, Houston, and Cincinnati, all 2-2 in the AFC Central Division? I believe that's correct.
They just put the final on the board here in Cincinnati, the final which we gave you earlier. The 49ers defeating the Steelers 17-14, and you can hear the reaction from what was once a sellout crowd. Some of the people have headed home trying to beat the traffic. There it is, 17-14. 49ers over the Steelers. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Don Ormeyer. The coordinating producer of NFL football is Ted Nathanson. The telecast of today's game at Riverfront has been produced by Kenneth Edmondson, directed by Bob Trumpy's closest personal friend, Jim Cross, and our associate director, Mike Eilbaum. Our spotters up in the booth were Bill Schwarberg and Mike Leonard, and our stats were handled by John Murdoch. Third down and 6. They put it in the air, and they get big yardage out of it. Dan Ross, who already has caught 2 touchdown passes, is down around the 10-yard line of Houston with 1:37 left.
You know, there are some unwritten rules in the NFL leading 34-21. I realize it's third down and about 6. And all they're trying for is the first down, but this is the second time that it's happened to Houston against New England. Steve Grogan ran a bootleg for big yardage. This is somewhat rubbing it in. Not saying there's anything wrong with it, but there is an unwritten rule. But with the rules nowadays in the NFL, where one of the final determining points as to whether or not you get in the playoffs is point differential, with games with teams inside your division, may be very important.
Pitch it back to Pete Johnson from the 10-yard line, and Johnson gets about 3 before being stopped. 1:28 remaining. Oiler PR man Bob Hyde has asked us to say hello to his family watching today down in Tennessee. It has not been a happy day for Mr. Hyde and the rest of the Oilers.
All things considered, though, with the problems they had at quarterback with Stabler missing all of the preseason, with the problems they've had defensively, 4-5 is not a bad record for the Houston Oilers. They've won some games on kickoff returns that they were down to their last gasp and did win. So
Pete Johnson bulls to about the 5. 45 seconds and probably one more snap remaining in this game.
And once again, Earl Campbell did not play in the second half. Ended up on the day. Let me look at the stat sheet here with 14 carries for 74 yards. That's the first time that the Bengals have held Earl Campbell to under 100 yards. And the Oilers are now 1-5 with Campbell under 100 yards. And he is their franchise. When he can play 4 quarters, this team, I'm telling you, is dynamite. Without him, they're an average football team.
Standing ovation at Riverfront by those who remain. Game's last play, Pete Johnson adding to his total. He'll wind up with 25 carries for 110 yards. The gun is sounded, and the Bengals have gone to 6-3 on the season, dumping the Oilers to 4-5. Final score, Cincinnati 34 and Houston 21. The Oilers' next assignment against Oakland at home. Cincinnati can't savor this too long. They've got to go on the road next week and face the Chargers at San Diego.
And the Oilers have to get Ken Stabler healthy as quickly as they possibly can. And also Earl Campbell. He is their big man. If he can't play, it takes about 75% of their offense off the football field. And hopefully his injury, that pulled hamstring, is not serious enough to keep him out of more than one game. And they're carrying Anthony Munoz, I might add, off on the golf cart. The Houston Oilers need Earl Campbell healthy. That's the biggest thing about the Houston Oilers.
Jack Thompson glad-handing Campbell. And the only sad note, evidently, at this point for the Bengals is, as Bob Trumpy says, they're using the golf cart to take Anthony Munoz off the field. He injured his knee late in the ball game. Houston held a 7-0 lead after taking the opening kickoff and going 66 yards for a score. After that, it was all Cincinnati, and the game really turned in the last 2 minutes of the first half. Trailing 14-7, the Oilers were driving, running a nifty 2-minute drill. But the Bengals stopped them, patched together their own drive, and scored. And as if that wasn't enough, Stabler was intercepted again in the half's waning moments, and Jim Breach really put the nail in their coffin with a 51-yard field goal as time expired to end the first half, and it was all over at that point. Now stay tuned for all the scores and highlights of today's...
A promotional fee has been paid to NBC by United Airlines. We serve more of this land's top 100 business centers than any other airline. Fly the friendly skies.
This has been a presentation of NBC Sports, the leader in innovative sports television.